represent. Most judges are unelected, unaccountable. They try to preserve the state. They are there to preserve the state. They are actually the political arm of the political government. It doesn't matter how much they talk about fairness and justice. All you're getting from them is the application of laws that were actually coined by the politicians in the first place. It's not our laws. We never made those laws. We never actually voted on them. But laws are created all the time in Parliament. They vote on them themselves, by themselves. They rear up and bring up judges by themselves. And they belong to the same class of people. And justice is no longer actually fair. It doesn't have to be. Because as long as the judge applies what is called the law, which is their view of what things should be like, then he considers that he's been just. In the process, many people are actually done by, harmed by the so-called justice. So in the Art-old system which is proposed, judges will be subjected to the same process as the election of experts. Remember? They will be in a queue of their own, judges. And then judges will be given their posts by chronology. Top judge goes to the top job, and so on. So that's the judiciary. And of course we will talk about this, and you can have questions asked. This is just explaining what I've been saying.
Media.
The media. Interesting. Now the media, at the moment, it's not there for information. If you think the media actually serves its purpose by giving us information which is objective and true, you're wrong. I don't think I've ever, in my 51 years living in the West, I've never seen a newspaper or a TV station that has actually told the truth except from their own point of view, from their angle. The BBC is one of the most offenders at the moment of the truth, because they've become the political media of the government. And of course we know the government is in the hands of the party that rules, and the party that rules is in the hands of the big powers on top. So the media, in this case, we suggest that it will be owned by the shareholders, and the shareholders will be the voters. Now, every shareholder will be able to hold only one share in the media. So if there's an organization such as News International, and it's got shareholders, each shareholder will only have one share. Now that share may be worth £1, or it may be worth £1 million. It doesn't matter. The point is that the shareholder will only own one share, so that he doesn't have any power more than the next shareholder. And therefore you have proper control, proper democracy of the media. And hopefully what we will have would be an objective and fair media. The state engine. The state engine is really every department in the country. Every part of the system does not need to be changed under real-time democracy, because these are basically they are professional departments. They are expert departments, if you like. The only problem is we are not allowing the politician to dictate to these departments. We'll make the people decide what these departments should do. But the departments themselves, they are functional. There's nothing wrong with the functionality of the department. I've always said that in this country we have rules and regulations and we have a system that works, but there's no democracy. And what we want is democracy. We want to be able to get things forward. There are many things like medicine and research and development that we never actually have any say in. It's the big companies that decide what to do. If I have a subject of research, I have to convince somebody who's an industrial or a big financier to actually decide. It doesn't matter if my invention is going to serve the people best. No. It only matters if it makes money for somebody else who's an industrialist.
Conclusion.
Well, the conclusions is that I've already talked about. Can you go next? I think that's all we have now. Conclusion. Okay, the two systems are entirely different. One says you are not capable of deciding for yourselves because you are either juveniles or you are imbeciles or you are backward or whatever. You must elect us to represent you, and we will do something maybe you will benefit from. They don't say it like that, but that's exactly what they mean. They say, we will do everything for you. We are actually sacrificing the cheap and the expensive in your service. But what they really say is that we're going to serve ourselves and our lot, and maybe we'll do something that you can pick up some scraps from. I thank you and ask for questions.
Okay, any question?
Yeah.
Yes.
I was wondering how you imagine the system could be implemented. So I was thinking, if it's going to be decided by the people whether to change to this system, then there will be voting. And there will always be some which won't vote for this system.
Sure.
So that means you'll have people with different opinions from the start. And that also means that this new system that supposedly, as you suggested, is to serve the whole of the people, basically won't be doing that purpose because some people don't want to be served by that system. So if it comes with votes, that means you're going to have the difference of opinion in the first place. How do you sort of think about that?
I'll take the last bit first. You said some people may not want this system to represent them. They want the representative system. Well, I think that would be extremely funny if it happened. I can't imagine. But if it did, that's democracy. If there are some people who don't want it, fine. Because the way to do this, the way to actually implement it, unfortunately, is to have one last party. One last party. I call it the switch party. The them switch party, or switched up, which is a party whose objective would be to implement this. They will go into the elections on the basis that if elected, they're going to implement the system. Yeah? Okay. And the party itself will not have leaders and I don't know what, committees and so on. They will actually have the same structure as Artog itself. In other words, the people who will run the party will be experts themselves. Yeah? And those experts will be the driving administration of the party. Once they get into power, they will then work to change the system. And you can come to the system that was suggested.
Before I would like to ask
Yeah.
one question. You know, in social science we use digital divide. The term digital
Yes.
divide. That's many people, due to the age, due to the gender or ethnicity, they have no access to internet
Yeah.
or knowledge. In this case, how people who digital divided, how these people can be a part of this system?
Well, the government that comes to implement the system will make sure that they are all connected. That's one of the things that this party will do. That's number one. Secondly, if you look at it at the moment, what do these people do that you're talking about? How do they actually get their voices heard? What chances are there that they will actually be listened to? At least, what we are saying is that the majority of the people are unlikely to do something that will harm any minority. I don't believe that a majority of people in a country that is not politicized, you see, party politics will make people go in different wild ways. But if you haven't got the party politics, as we are suggesting, there's not going, and if you haven't got the media, the local media that we have done, then we're going to have people who will have their own free will.